everybody. So I made a video and I feel like it was a pretty good video, and it had lots of neat weather stuff that was going on I wanted to show y'all. And I uploaded it, no audio, and I have no idea where the audio got lost at, because it just happened to be a day that I cleaned off my phone. So I didn't even have the video files to go back to. I knew they had it. I listened to them on my phone after I did the video. I don't know why that in moving them to my computer, audio went away. So we're gonna try this again. It's now June 4th, Sunday. By the time I get this uploaded, it may actually be Monday or Tuesday. Because I can't upload from here at work. I have to upload when I'm home. We had a great May. Stitch Mania is now, well, the May part of Stitch Mania is now over. And I had 14 new starts. So I thought that was pretty good. Especially for my first time participating. I had 2 finishes that were started during Mania. I had a 3rd finish from a whip that I had previous to Mania. So all in all, it was really good. I did do a starting and ending photographs of all my new starts on my Instagram. I do have a few to show y'all that I hadn't shown you since my last video, and then just a couple whips, not much, and then looking forward to a less busy June, so maybe a little more getting the work on the whips. So first I was going to go through my whips, and then I'll show you the last of my Mania starts, and then I'll probably just talk your ear off for a few minutes. So first I worked on Golurk. He is a Pokemon, and this one's for my little brother. It's his favorite. It's the one he picked out. Mostly I did a lot of work here in his hand. I think there was a little bit in the knee, and mostly all in his hand over here. So he's getting done. I need to focus and finish him soon. So, next, no, not that one. This piece. So I pulled out this one, and I'll explain a little bit more about that later. But okay, so I pulled out this, and when I started, I was about right here, right where this little flower thing is. And, oh, I'm sorry, second blue flower, this flower. And I worked all the way to here, and then there's an issue. So let me show you the picture. This is the picture, and I'm about right, see where these 3 little X's connect right here? That's about where I'm at. But as you can see here, there's more than 3 X's in between there, 3 crosses. So I went back and counted, and I had missed 1 stitch. So I pulled all this out, and I re-stitched it and didn't miss a stitch. I double and triple checked, still didn't line up. And so I counted this entire side all the way up to the heart, double triple checked, it was fine. So I was about ready to throw it out the window. And I decided to go back and look, and all the way over here, see this heart? See how much space there is there? See how much space is here? Yeah, this is not supposed to have that much space. The heart is supposed to sit pretty much right on the leaves. So that has messed up the entire rest of this, and I am not about to pull all of that. I really think that if I absolutely had to, I would probably just give up, throw the piece away. I might have restarted it on something else, but I wasn't gonna pull. Why is it so much harder to pull the stitches out than it is to put them in? Like, so anyway, what I've decided is I may add just a little something here so there's not this blank space that draws your eye. And then just throw a couple extra stitches in here and connect it all, because this is not going to mess with the wording. It literally only is going to mess up stuff right in this little 1/2 inch. So I'm just going to work around it. And when I'm done, I will show you how I managed to do that. If I managed to do it, because it's very frustrating. It's so frustrating when you, and see, part of the issue here is, like I said, this was from a previous sitting down and working on it, and then I probably didn't work on it for a month or two. Well, then when I started here. I had already made the mistake, but you don't think to go back and look and see, oh, maybe I made a mistake somewhere in here. No, not until I got here and things weren't right, and I had to go back and find it. So, say Levy. So I will, next time I pull this out, I will finish that up. I did make a note to myself so I don't pull it back out and go, what the heck is going on here? Because how many of y'all have done that? You find a mistake or don't find a mistake, and then, yeah, anyway, so moving on. The next thing I worked on, which I also finished, was Odette Owl. She's number 20 in the Advent Animals calendar, and she's my little finish. And I call these finishes, well, she's not completely finished. I have to put her bow on, but I figure I do that right before I fully finish her, because it's going to be kind of loose and I don't want it to get caught on something when I'm working on the rest of them. So, as I've stated previously, I'm doing these individually. Actually, I have an example. I'm doing these individually, so I consider each one of these a start and a finish. So, she is finished. She is considered a finish for me. I did, like, this is not professional, this is me, and I was at work, so I didn't, it's not as perfect as it could be, or as nice as it could be, but honestly, my kids are not even going to care, so I'm not that worried about it. But I fully finished one of them, and as you can see, it's a little crooked because I didn't have an iron, and these are fraying. I need to, like, pin them back. But I used super glue while I was at work, and that was not the best idea. Next time I'll definitely use, like, hot glue, I think, to hold this on to the magnet. But yeah, and see, then the back is just a magnet so that I can put them on the refrigerator. I plan on putting all 25 on the refrigerator, and then, you know, on the first they would pull off the 25th, 24, 23, until they, so they can count down to Christmas. So hopefully, let's see, it's June. I might be able to get them done by December this year, which is really sad considering I started them December of last year. But I have, let's see, 4 now completely finished. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. And then I have several more started, so maybe I'll just have to focus on those a little bit better. I hope y'all can hear me okay. I can't turn off the AC. It is too hot, and I'm a little further away, I think, than I normally am, and my throat's bothering me. So, where's that? Okay, so now for my Mania starts. This one is another Pokemon. I know you've been seeing a lot of those for me, but my kids and my brother and sister are really into it. So, this one's for my son. It is Haunter. He's a ghost Pokemon, and he's got a lot of purple in him, which I like. And my son does not talk about this Pokemon very much, like, because he talks about Pokemon a lot. But doesn't talk about it much, but when I showed him all the ones he could choose from, this is the one he chose. So, and it's a little bigger than some of the other ones, which I think is different and interesting. So we'll see how it goes. And then another one I started was the gingerbread house ornament from my book of Christmas ornaments. So it doesn't have that much done. I was really distracted because I was also watching the movie Split. It's about a man that kidnaps 3 teenage girls, and he has dissociative personality disorder. I think dissociative identity disorder is what they call it. But anyway, multiple personalities. And it was really interesting. Good psychological thriller. I really enjoyed it. So if you have a chance to watch it, you should. But that's why this didn't get as much work as it should have, because I was too busy watching the movie. And then my last few starts are all on the Advent animals. I believe I've showed you the lion. I'm going to go ahead and show you again because he's cute and because I'm not sure. This thing's a mess. Hold on. Like I said, I did this video just 2 days ago. So, let's see. Oh, lion first. That's what I was going to show you. I believe his name's Larry. Larry Lion. He's just adorable. I love the contrast in his hair, like the darker and the lighter, making a streaked mane look. And then I'm not quite sure why he has 3 crowns on his head, but he's rocking it. So, I'm sorry, this hat. It drives me crazy. It makes me itch. But if I take it off, my hair, I'm growing it out, so it's a mess. And the wind out here is just crazy. So, next one, this is Remy Rabbit. I don't actually have the rabbit yet. You can see I've got most of the border, the snowflakes. I started kind of going this way because the way that I had my hoop on there, once I got this done, I could move it and finish the border, and then I ran out of time. And then this is like the little toe of a stocking that the rabbit is hanging out of. So then after that, I moved back up to the first row because I realized I had enough room for one more up there. And I'm trying to make the most of this fabric, and even still, I may have to order another piece before I can finish them, and that's kind of scary. I need to figure that out soon so I can get the fabric in time, because it's hand-dyed fabrics by Stephanie, and with all hand-dyed stuff, you know, it takes a little while. So this one is Hamilton Horse, I believe. I keep wanting to call him Horace, but it's Hamilton, I believe. And this is his golden trophy for his ugliest sweater, but it's kind of like the Emperor's New Clothes. It's still invisible because I haven't stitched it yet. So that was my last new start. Like I said, I got 14 starts done, 2 finishes. I worked on 23 projects last month, and I didn't even touch all of them. So, but I worked on 23 of them. I'm actually going to show you all that. Let me move this. Let's get a little closer. So, the way that I keep track, I have this little bullet journal, and it's sloppy and messy and whatever. I've seen some really beautiful ones out there, and mine is not. So, but it's been very helpful in my cross-stitching stuff. It's more of a cross-stitching notebook at this point than an actual bullet journal. But so this is how I am keeping track of my projects. Again, I know I said this before, but I want to make sure she gets the credit. I copied this off of Trisha, the Left-Handed Stitchers. She showed something like this on one of her videos, and I just thought it would be perfect, and so I've stolen the idea. So these blue ones here are whips that I had prior to Stitch Mania. The purple ones were the ones I planned for Stitch Mania, like had kitted, and that was the whole purpose. And these pink ones were the Advent animals, which would be extras if I needed them, and I did. So that's why you see the different colors on the sides. And then I put each day of the month, and then if it's a start, you see it's a little green X here. Red means I finished it, which I put this in the wrong place, and then I try and say that it's what day it's finished. And then black just means I worked on it, and as you can see, like right here, where's Faith? Right here with Faith, it did not get worked on last month. I'm going down the, see, nothing. So what happened was I was working on my stitch-alongs, my fantasy, my birthstone dragons, and the under the sea stitch-alongs, and I would work on them the first half of the night, and the second half of the night I would do a new start. Well, when I stopped doing new starts, actually when I got done with my stitch-alongs, I wanted to work on one of the other whips that hadn't been touched yet this month. So you can't see it because it's in yellow, but there's these little numbers right here, and I would use a random number generator on my phone, and whatever number it was, like I think it was number 10, was Hello Kitty, and I pulled her out and worked on her for the first half of the night, and then the second half of the night I worked on the new start. Now coming in June, I don't have all the new starts, so I haven't decided if I'm still going to split the night so that I'm working on 2 projects each night. And if I do, it would be after I get my stitch-alongs done. I am doing them first and foremost, and have decided to just work on them till they're finished. So on June 1st, I started the new block on the fantasy, and I got it finished on the 2nd. But that's 2 nights of working on it. No, I finished it on the 3rd. The morning of the 3rd. Anyways, it took me 2 nights of working the whole night instead of just half a night to get it finished. And so now, tonight I'm working on my birthstone dragons. And then I'll do the under the sea and then move on to these. And there's also these little, like you'll kind of see in these yellow boxes. If there's an event going on that day where I've already planned what I'm going to do, I color the box yellow so I know to go to pull that one out. Okay, so I revamped it a little bit for June. I changed it up. I liked it, and I felt like it was very useful, but it needed to change just a little bit. I don't feel like I need to write the start dates every month. I mostly did that last month because I was going to be starting them, and so I have them recorded in here somewhere. So in June, you'll see I don't have the start dates. They're all the same color because I'm not planning a bunch of new starts. I'm thinking maybe just 1 a month, because I know that Stitch Mania has an event. I believe it's the 17th year of new starts, and then that'll be the day I start a new one. So anyway, these first X's here before the 1st mean that I touched them last month. I worked on them in some capacity last month. So I actually touched most of them, excuse me. So that's pretty good. And I want to make sure that, so that'll give these ones priority after my stitch-alongs, so that they have been touched within 2 months. And hopefully, because I don't have a whole bunch of new starts this month, next month, all of these will have X's. They will have all been worked on. But it's live, so we'll see. As you can see, the first three days I worked on the fantasy stitch-along, which technically it's only 2. I worked the evening of the 1st to the morning of the 2nd, the evening of the 2nd to the morning of the 3rd. I work overnight. So, and then I worked a little bit on my head because I was off yesterday. So, and also another change. You see these orange lines going down the page. I found that sometimes when I'd be like, okay, it's the 27th of the month, and I worked on something down here, and I would follow my finger. Before I knew it, my finger did one of these numbers. And I was constantly afraid I was going to hit the wrong box. So what I did was I marked them off by week. And you'll see that they're not even because I messed up. But I'm human and I mess up, so I'm just rolling with it. Versus crossing it out and making one line one closer. Anyway, and that kind of breaks it down a little bit, makes it easier to quickly see it, and also gives me an idea of what I've done in a week. So that is it for that. Every time I've brought it out, I feel like I haven't truly explained every step of it, like how useful it is. It's not just keeping track, it's deciding what's next, because I can be indecisive, very. Or like last month, Stitch Rovio is one of my new starts. The charity Sal, the quotes to live by, and it was one of my new starts. And then after I got caught up on all my stitch alongs, I wanted to go back and work on it. I'm not considering it one of my stitch alongs only because I'm not making sure I start stitching it whenever everybody else does, or at the beginning of the month, because I'm really behind and I have to catch up. So anyways, I want to go back and work on it, but there was all these other projects that hadn't been touched yet, and Stitch Rovia had been started. So I told myself no, and I came up with the random numbers and pulling them out that way. So there's that. I need a drink. Okay, so I know it's just June. It's the beginning of June, and I'm looking forward to a pretty good month. The kids are out of school, and so far it's going pretty well. They're not chomping at the bit to be doing something, because that's what I was most afraid of with it being summer. Outside of wanting to go to the pool. We went to the pool yesterday. I think we were there 30 minutes, and then it started thundering and lightning. We had to get out. So, I have a family reunion the third weekend in July, I think. Something like that. And I do not stitch when I am camping, so there will be a break there. Otherwise, I plan on getting quite a bit done. July 1st, I had two things about July. Okay, first of all, July 1st starts the Tour de Stitches, and it is an event hosted by Cross Stitch It's Fun, the Facebook group, and it goes along with the Tour de France. And even though I couldn't answer this in the last video, I did not find the answer. I do not know how long it lasts. But basically each day you get separated into teams, and each day you submit your stitch count for the entire day to your team captain. The team captain then adds those all together and gives a team total to the person running the event. I believe it's charity. And then at the end you just see which teams win. The thing I have found about it, because I participated last year, is after we were done, my team, most of us stayed, and excuse me, we've been talking ever since. So I think it's a good way to get to know certain people in the stitching community and build that reputation, because personally, I don't comment a lot on Facebook. I read the posts and I read comments, but I don't do a lot of commenting. So a lot of people don't know who I am. A lot of people, like, I'm just not very outspoken, I guess. So being in this smaller knit group, I got to know people and they got to know me. And so I really enjoyed it. last year I was on Team Dionysus. Like I said, I think about 5 of us stuck around. And then when they started getting the teams together for Tour de Stitches this year, one of our people got pulled into another team before she realized that we could revamp our team. So the 4 of us that were left, 4 of us that were left, one wasn't interested, and then the other 4 of us were. So then we just got 5 more people, and we're Team Dionysus again this year. So if you are interested in joining the Tour de Stitches, like I said, it doesn't start till July 1st, and it's at the Cross Stitches Fun Facebook group, and I'll link it down below. So there was something else about July. Now I cannot remember what it was. Well, maybe I'll remember by my next video, which should be before July, unless I just completely go off the reservation. Okay, so sidebar, and if you're not interested in books, you can hang up now and I'll talk to you later. I have been reading, and after I record each of my videos, I keep going, oh, I forgot to talk about the books. And I see I've been reading. I don't have time. I do have time. I don't have the patience to sit and read anymore. Like, I always feel like I need to be doing more than one thing at a time. And if I'm sitting down to read, I can't be doing anything else but reading. So I've been listening to audiobooks in the beginning of my evenings before the sun goes down, and I can't see my laptop until the sun goes down. So I've been listening to audiobooks while I start cross-stitching or killing time in some way. So I finished 4 books in May. 3 of them were a series. Once I started, I just decided I didn't want to stop. And then one of them was the beginning of a series, and I haven't continued it yet. The first book of the first series was Scarlet by A.C. Gauguin. And it was followed by Lady Thief and Lionheart. It was a very, very good series. I had a hard time turning it off once I started listening to it. It's a twist on a classic tale. That's all I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you anymore because I didn't know what it was going into it. I don't do a lot of reading the back of books. I tend to pick books based on how often I see them on a book blog or on Goodreads, or there's a million reasons I could choose them, but I don't typically read the backs very often because sometimes those backs can give away some of my favorite parts that I don't realize going into it. So that's what happened this time. I did not know what it was about. I had seen it a few different places, and the covers, of course, were beautiful, so I decided to give it a try, and I'm really glad I did. And I mean, you learn basically pretty early on what I'm not wanting to give away, but again, still, I wouldn't want to ruin it for you if you like being surprised like I do. I could be totally wrong, and you can go read the back and maybe it'll give it away. Again, I don't know, I didn't read it, but that's up to you. They're really, really good books if you like the retelling of fairy tales in a different way, or young adult action novels, a little bit of romance in there. So it's pretty good. So that was 3 books, 3. And then the next one it's called Hive. I think the author's name is Jamin Eve. I hope I'm not lying to you. That might be it. There's 2 authors, and that's the one I can remember, and I'm hoping I'm not mixing up last names or something. But anyways, it's a vampire young adult novel. They're actually half vampire, half humans, and they're called Ash. So I like the first book. I feel like the first book is kind of a setup for something bigger that's going to come down the road, and I don't know how many books are in the series. I haven't looked it up yet. I know there's at least one more because, like I said, it really feels like it's just getting started, and I found it really interesting. A little bit of a different change of pace from what I've been reading lately. So, I mean, I've read vampire novels, but it's not high on my to-do list, so I hadn't read one in a while. So it was a nice change of pace. So anyways, I read 4 books, and I highly recommend them. I also do have a Goodreads account, if anybody's interested, that I keep track of stuff like that. I think instead of updating books every video, I will just do it during my end of the month recap like this is supposed to be. I don't know if you would really call it that, but that's my intention, to tell you that Stitch Mania went well, 14 starts, and I'm just looking forward to another good month of stitching. And I've been watching all the Flosstube I can, and it's dying down a little bit now. During Stitch Mania, man, my Flosstube was flowing, everybody. And I like the idea of the vlogs. I wish I had thought about that at the beginning, but then once I didn't do it, I didn't feel like I would just start midway through. But I know that Trisha, her Flosstube name has something to do with 3 owls. But anyway, I really enjoyed her vlogs, and a lot of hers had a lot of personal stuff with the stitching, and I thought it was cool. I felt like I was her buddy and hanging out with her for the day or for the 10 minutes or whatever she did of each day. So I think that's all, folks, and I'll be back in a week or 2, hopefully with a lot more to show you. I know there wasn't a lot this time, but the end of the month got really crazy with the end of school and everything else. So, alright, well, y'all have a great stitchy week, and I hope this one uploads correctly with volume. And I'll see y'all next time.